First things first, I'm going to give you 3 top tips that I teach all of my patients from day one. Now, these are really the fundamentals of getting over back pain, and I'm not saying that this is all it takes. Obviously, there's a lot of information in this course, and I hope that a lot of it's useful to you, but nothing is going to work unless you're doing these 3 things. So, number 1 is if you're using heat on your back when it hurts, stop right now. I'd recommend in 9 times out of 10, cold is the way to go. You want to put cold on a painful area, not heat. And the reason for that is because if you add heat, like a hot water bottle or a hot wheat bag, onto an area that's sore and inflamed, then it might feel kind of comforting at the time, but what you're doing is actually increasing the inflammation, which means that the pain intensifies or lasts longer than it would have done. So stop using the hot water bottle, just use the cold pack. Now, if you've got a gel cold pack, that's great. Or what you can do is get a bag of frozen peas or frozen sweet corn out of the freezer and stick a tea towel on it so it's not directly touching the skin. Wrap it up like that and then stick it on your back for about 15 to 20 minutes. So that's number 1. Get a bag of frozen peas, tea towel, 20 minutes. Always go cold rather than heat if something's quite sore. Number 2 is go for a walk, if you can. Obviously, if your back's so bad it's preventing you from walking, then you just have to do what you can manage. But most of us don't walk far enough, or we don't walk often enough these days. You don't have to walk far for the health of your back, but if you can get out and walk around the block for 10 or 20 minutes a day, it'll do wonders. So try to get into the habit of every day doing a little bit of walking. If you find yourself like having sandwiches at lunch, for example, at your desk, don't do that. Go for a walk instead. The best way of walking for your back, for the health of your back, is with your arms swinging and walking briskly, looking straight ahead. And that means that walking with shopping or holding on to the kids or pushing a trolley around the shops or something like that, that's not the same. It doesn't have the same effect. So you want to walk briskly on your own with your arms swinging, looking straight ahead, obviously look where you're going, because doing that allows the proper rotation throughout the lower back and the pelvis, which drives fluid into the spinal discs and the joints. So ice pack and go for a walk every day. The third thing, and again, I'm not saying it's as easy as this, but it's an important thing to know, is to try not to think about it and talk about it all the time. I'm not saying you do, but when we're in pain, it can be easy to focus on that. And the problem is, whatever we focus on, your brain magnifies and intensifies, which means if you've got a problem you're thinking about or a pain in your body you're thinking about, and you keep focusing on it, that will intensify. And if you talk about it, then that makes it even worse. I'm not saying don't talk about it, but for example, if you've got someone in the family who's trying to be helpful and constantly asking you how you are, they might not be doing you any favors. So have a word with them and say, look, thanks for asking, but I don't want to focus on it all the time. I don't want to focus on it too much. Try to distract yourself with something, whether that's work or a hobby or reading a book, whatever it is that you enjoy. Like I say, I know it's not that easy, but if you're not doing these 3 things, then nothing else you do is going to be that effective. So just to recap, ice, not heat. Go for a walk every day and try to distract yourself. Try to focus on something else, and you'll find that everything else becomes a lot more effective. I'll see you in the next lesson.